Well, let's see how. I have the sneezes. Let's see how she did during the rain. I didn't get this window up all the way last time I was driving. There's a little bit of dampness. Here are some screws that I found in this holder here. I have mounted my fire extinguisher. So if something horrible happens, I'll have a fire extinguisher ready to go. I was put this towel in there to soak up some water last night. Then I left it in there, and then it rained like ridiculous, and so that's soaking wet. I'll go wring that out and hang it up. Here's Chelsea's old hinges. I asked my neighbor, who's a welder and works with metal, about them, and he said, oh, you could just hammer them straight. But that's not really within my area of knowledge, so I wonder if I could find somebody that'll hammer them straight. It's a little bit cold out this morning. Ugh. But I got my Emox sweatshirt on, so that's nice. I'll lay that towel out to dry there. Let's see. So the first step is to move the bicycles. Eliana and I went for a nice little bike ride yesterday after one bout of rain finished. So that was nice. And then it was cold, but it didn't rain on us at least. And then after we got back, it rained later. Okay, so I cleaned this out as best I could. I even did a couple of runs of sucking water through the hose to try to clean out the hose, because I vacuumed some pretty nasty stuff into there. It's about as good as I can get it, I think. I'm going to shut the garage door while I do this, because it's cold. Not that that'll make it much warmer, but it'll make it a little warmer. And also darker. Okay, let's see. Let's see what she does. Give me some power. Okay, I think I'll plug the mic for this because the vacuum cleaner will be pretty loud. Well, that did a lot of good. Some of the sand gets down into here, but let me see. I tried to get as much of that out as I could yesterday. It seems pretty good. All right. Well, let's see what we got then. Down here, an old R2B2. Oh, yeah. That's a hefty, good chunk of stuff. Oh. Huh. I hadn't considered that. Okay. Whatever. So, a while back, I turned one of my bins into a snake habitation. And I took a screen from an old screen door and cut it and put it on to this top. I cut the plastic out of the top, and so now I'm using that as my strainer. So I strained this stuff into one of my Harbor Freight buckets, which is over here. And then get out as many of the larger solids as I can. And I strain it back and forth between the Harbor Freight bucket and this little ice cream tub. And hopefully this will be a good process for recovering these. I had left my sandblasting cabinet out in the rain one time that it rained, so some of the sand is kind of stuck together and whatnot. But like I say, any pound that I save is $1 that I save. They have obviously different medias that you can use for blasting with. This one is probably the one least that you want to inhale or anything, because California knows that it's dangerous for that. Well, imagine if California figured out it was dangerous. That we should all kind of figure out that it's not the best thing to put into your lungs. I remember when, all the way up to when I was a young adult, that if you go into a restaurant, they would ask you if you wanted to sit in smoking or non-smoking. So inside the restaurant itself, there are people smoking at their tables. And even if you chose non-smoking, the smokers were not very far away from you in the same room. So even if you chose non-smoking, you might be sitting close to smokers, and there you can go ahead and be eating while somebody's smoking next to you. But that's just the way it was, so you didn't know any better, so you just did it. And then I moved to California and go to a restaurant, and I'd be like, we'd like to sit in the non-smoking section. And they're like, what is that? We don't have smoking in restaurants. So now it's that way everywhere. But to me it seemed like California was always a little bit ahead of the curve on that sort of thing, which I really appreciated, because sitting in a restaurant where people are smoking, it's not all that pleasant. Also, California was the first place that I went to a restaurant, and well, I grew up calling it pop. I'd say, had like a pop, and they had no idea what that could mean. A pop? What's a pop? You mean a soda? Yeah, give me a soda. Well, California was the first place that I went to that after you finished your soda, they would refill it. I thought, this is the best thing ever. I could drink a soda, and they'll just keep bringing me more. Well, then I was told that for a business like that, a soda out of the fountain, it costs a restaurant or a business place like 5 cents a fill. And then they charge you like $2.25 for your soda, for your pop, and of course they're gonna refill it. They still make a huge profit on that. And of course the price of getting a pop at a restaurant has just continued to go up and up and up. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. So I don't even get pop at the restaurant anymore. I got pop at home. Actually, I stopped drinking. I was drinking a lot of Mountain Dew, and then I just stopped. And now I just drink juice or water. I like juice, I like water. I guess it would be nice to have a little bit finer of a mesh, because still quite a bit of stuff is getting through. But whatever gets through is definitely small enough to go through my shooter. So I don't know if it really matters. But anyway, that's how I reclaim my dollar per pound sanding material. The other medias that I was mentioning, like walnut shell and whatnot, those cost the exact same. or more than the glass beads, so I'm not really rushing to go buy some of that stuff. All right, well, I thought I'd show you some of the advantages of sandblasting. So I could take this cabinet and set it up on the sawhorses, and so that's my setup. I put the cabinet on top of the sawhorses. The plexiglass is very reflective, so that's one thing I didn't really anticipate. So when I look in there, I see that tree. That makes it a little more challenging for my purposes. But another thing is I have this respirator that I need to wear when I do this, because I don't want to have any of the Californian bad stuff in my lungs, California knows it's bad. And they're ahead of things on this sort of thing. So, there I go. Oh, I was covering the mic that whole time. I'm gonna clean that up, I think. See how that goes. I have a couple of things I want to sandblast. I have a couple things. I want to do my headers. Sandblast those. I took these little screws out. Where did they go? This is the grounding strip for the antenna. It's nice. This is one of the screws that came out. I already sanded it and stuff, so it looks pretty good, but I might as well just give it a blast. What else? Yeah, I want to get underneath the car and sandblast. That can't be done in my cabinet, but it should be doable. I need to cut this stump down so that I can park over here. That's going to be something for the future. Ugh, I got snot coming out my nose. How embarrassing. All right. The compressor hasn't turned back on. It's got a good oil level. It goes up to 120, and it's now down to, well, I don't even think that's accurate, because it doesn't shut off until it hits the red line. But I guess what I'll do is I'll turn it on and I'll start doing my sanding job, and this running the sander ought to turn these are my sanding gloves. ought to turn the compressor back on pretty quickly. I'm gonna put this sand that I recovered into my little portable sanding contraption. Just go right in there. That's right. There you go. It's had a few passes through the screen, so I think I'll be all right. I cut a slit for my gun and my hose to go through, and then a slit for my hands. Gonna need some air, so get a couple of loops of hose. Oh, that's plenty. I should have connected that before I put it into my contraption. Okay, I'm gonna put my stuff on. This is what it looks like now. Ta-da. There's nothing really to prop the camera up on. Even so, you're not gonna see much. But oh well. All you see is probably a reflection. But let's do this. I'll put my gloves on. And here we go. Air compressor just kicked on. And it's done. I'm trying to do the screw now. Okay, the screw and the washer are pretty much done. They're very difficult to do because I'm wearing ski gloves and very difficult to hold them down while wearing ski gloves. Okay. Good enough. So you saw what they looked like prior to sanding. And this is the washer now. It's pretty good. This is the screw now. Pretty good. And this is the rusted metal plate. I didn't get here very good or in there, so I'm gonna give it another turn, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off for that. The same material kind of sucks out, of course it sucks out that hose, so it kind of voids it